So, hi, I'm Mo, and I'm going to show you today a very quick tutorial in Unreal. It's a very basic one, only for beginners. I'm going to show you how to create a UMG in Unreal and how to add some very basic functionalities to it. For example, I prepared this one as the first example. And if I right now is in play mode, if I, for example, add a number to it, if I, for example, say 23, I can just convert it to float. And also, if I just write, for example, some alphabet, I cannot write anything. For example, right now I'm typing G and H, but I cannot have it in my editable text box. And yeah, I'm going to show you that. It's a very basic one. So if you're a beginner, if you're looking to know that how this UMG works, just keep watching. Otherwise, I don't think so. It's going to bring anything for the professionals. So let's just say I'm going to get out of the play mode, and then that's a UMG that I created, but I'm going to create another UMG. So I'm going to start from the scratch. I'm going to name a folder UMG, for example, 2. Then first we need to create a UMG. What is UMG? UMG is an asset type that is just categorized under user interface. So you're right-clicking, and then you're going to the user interface, and there is some widgets blueprint. So you can name it whatever you wanted to name it. I'm going to just call it widget convert to int to float. Then we're going to prepare our widget. How we're going to prepare it? We're going to double click it, and then this is the window that you're going to get. Again, it's very straightforward. It is like other applications. Also, Unity is just very. There are many similarities to Unity. And what you can do, you have some common modules. You have some common modules that you can use. There are so many, and it depends on your use case. But our use case in this case is very simple. So we're not going to do very advanced stuff in here. First of all, I need some background to fill the background completely. So for the background, I'm using the image. I'm just dragging it. I can also drag it in here, or I can also drag it to here. This is the hierarchy that you're creating with these modules. So I'm going to put it onto the screen. Then I need to resize it to take the whole screen. But I can also do it by hand, or I can do it just use these options, which is way again easier. So in the anchor, I can just anchor it. I need to anchor it in the middle, so I can do that. And also, if I read this, hold Shift to update the alignment to match, and then hold Control to update the position to match. So I would like to just control the position and alignment as well. So I'm going to hold Shift and Control. So it's going to be in the center. Then it's going to position X and position Y to 0, which is in the center. That's correct. And this is the size that you have, how much you want to have it, size X and size Y. If I, for example, right now call it 0, I'm not going to have any. But if I just say, give it, for example, 100 in 100, I'm going to get that. Now I need to just say, hey, I want it to full screen. So I'm going to just say, come to here. There is also a middle option for it. So I can just say again, Control Shift and then grab it, and now I'm going to have it as a full screen. Again, I could have just done that with manual numbers, but they already created an option for it, so they made it easier. Then I need to give it a background color. You can give it whatever background color that you would like to use. For example, now coming to the appearance, there are so many options. You can have a background really image, as the name suggests. But now I would like to have just a color, just a normal color, to make it again simple. I'm going to make it very dark. and now we have an image, and we have a background image. Then there is a save button, but be sure that you're calling it a compile button. So always you're having a checkbox in here. Now the other thing that I created in the other blueprint, I would also like to have something like a box that can hold two pieces for me. One piece is going to be editable text, and the other piece is just a button. So I would like to have this box. This box is should be vertical, because I want to have two vertical elements close to each other, on top of each other. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through input. Yes, we need also input text. We need editable text. We also need that. I'm going to bring it down here for later times, and also I need a button, so I'm going to bring it in here for later times. Around the input by input text, I also want to create a border, so I'll also bring it to here again for the later times. But before that, I need input list. I can also search here for vertical, but I would like to find it in this way. So vertical box in the panel. So vertical box, I'm going to bring it to the scene, and I have it. Again, I'm going to use the same shortcuts because make it easier. I would like to have it in the center, and I'm going to give it, for example, 500 in 200 or something like that. Then that's just a holder, so I need to just fill it with the thing that I have. So I have a button, and I have an editable text. An editable text should be above the button, so I can just drag it and just put it above the button. That's very simple. Now I'm just out of the children, but it should be children, like that. Also, I can also use these buttons to bring it up or down. They made it very easy. So now I have these two. The appearance is not, it does not look okay, but it is not a problem because we're going to just work on the appearance. That's a background image, so I'm going to just call it background, and the type as image. Should not be named like that. You can name it whatever you want. Then that's a border. I would like to have the border, use the border for this side, but again, I'm going to add it later times, this is the border at later times. Let's just work on the appearance. The editable box is okay, not a problem, but the button, I'm going to use this as an auto field size, because right now it's an auto field size, or there's a field size. This is just one, which means that it's going to just grab the whole of it, unless the other one, instead of auto, is going to be field again. So now 1 to 1, which means there's going to be equal parts. That's okay for me. I would like to keep it as 1 to 1. I would like to keep it as, in this way, it's completely equal. For example, if you want the other one to be less, just make it 0,8. Sorry, 0,8. Yeah, 9. So it's going to be take lesser space, and the button is going to take more space. But I would like to have both of them as an equal size, so I'm going to call field 1 and also button 1. Then a little bit I'm going to just give padding to that. This padding exactly works in the CSS mode as well. So if you just, for example, I'm going to add one padding, so it's going to be top, left, right, bottom, all of them. And I'm going to, for the button as well, I'm going to just get 10. So it's going to be 10 above, and it's just the bottom is going to be also 10. At this time, you're not going to see this one, see around of it. That's why I would like to use the border for the editable text. Then for the button, we need a text. So, but we do not need an editable text. We need a normal text, something like that. I'm going to bring it. It can accept children, but it is not as children. This one needs to be here. So now we exactly put it as a children of the bottom. Now it's not in the center, so we would like to just put it in the center. So I would like to do that and do that. So it's good exactly in the center. then we are just writing something, naming it. So we would like to see this converged into float. This what button does, and the appearance, I can just make it just again black. It is kind of bold. I do not like it to have it bold. I'm going to make it light, and I'm going to also make it something about 34, 35 to just. So then for the editable tags, also I would like to also do the same thing, but I need some kind of for example hint text. The text that is going to be, as it just I'm hovering over this text, is going to be I'm going to get some instruction that how it works. So hint text that appears when there is no text in the text box. So I'm going to say, for example, 25 or whatever number, because I would like to accept just int. But it's very small, so I need to just change the font, and I'm going to make it 34 again. And it did not change. You need to also be careful. But if you do that, for example, it's going to change. Some of the parts are not instant, so you need to be careful. So you need to always use this compile. And now I would like to have it in the center, so I would like to put it in the center. And also I would like to put this also in the center. So I'm going to exactly have it in the center. Then there is something like a text color and opacity. Like now the color is like that. I would like to have it something like white. Then now I would like to have some border, which I'm going to use this one, this module. This module is, if I just come on top of it, there's a toolbox that says what it accepts. It's a single child, so it just accepts a single child. I can just editable text be a child of this one, and also it works with image. So if I just have it, and if I just bring it to vertical box and make the editable box a child of it and bring it on top of the button again, I'm going to have something like that. Then I need to first I can make also some padding to it. For example, 10 as a padding. Then in the appearance, there is something that draws an image, but we would like to just have some border. There is some margin that I'm not seeing it at this time, but there are some margins that you would like. For example, if I just make it 1, I'm going to have the margin of 1. I can also make it, for example, margin, but I can just make it 1, 1, and then 1, all of them, and then I'm also a little bit, I'm seeing some lines. Then yeah, I think it's okay. Right now we're done in here. Now we need to kind of test it. So now we need to show, also I'm just pressing compile. Now we need to show this widget to show this widget to the screen. How can we do that? Again, it's very simple. So I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to create, first of all, I'm going to just say do this, and then I'm going to delete this one because that's from the old widget. Now I'm going to create a new actor, blueprint actor. This can be some other places as well. So for example, you can put it on the character, but I'm just showing you the basic place for it. It's very easy. So I'm going to create the actor, and the actor is a blueprint. And now I'm going to just say that widget convert to float, for example, and then display cal. So for this actor to work, I need to add it to the screen, and because I would like to use one functionalities of it, and I'm going to double click it. When I double click it, it's going to get open, and you're going to have so many options in here. I'm not going to talk on every aspect of them, I need to come to, at this moment, yeah, do not be bothered about viewport or what is these things. Just come to event graph. The event graph, you have something, an event called begin play. It is something like start in Unity. So I would like to use it, and because this actor is in my hierarchy, so this begin play is going to get called. On begin play, I would like to see my widgets. So if I do that, if I just say save, and if I play it, I'm not going to see anything. But I would like to see my widgets that I created. Now, event begin play, first we need to create a widget in Unreal. How is that? Create widget. The widgets, you need to referencing it. What widget, what class you created. All the widgets are coming to here. I have convert to float, and then widget blueprint convert into float. But I need to know this is widget convert into float. So this is the one that we created. Then owning the player, it needs a player controller. So I'm going to add again. I'm going to be get player controller and just add it to this one. So just to make it nice, I'm going to just organize it below it. So now I'm going to create it, but I have it, but that doesn't mean that it is added to the screen. So I need to add it to the screen. So I'm going to say add to viewport, add to viewport. Now that I've added, also this is the return type, also I added to the viewport, that doesn't mean that I can control it. So just to be sure that I can interact with it, I need to just say set input mode to either game and UI or just UI only. In this case, UI only, because I have just only UI and I'm not showing any part of the game. So again, I need a player controller. I can't do this, but it's not very nice. So I can do one time this and then cache this to a promote variable and use that variable. So I can show you how. This is the variable, and then because it is just set, okay, I can say that I can get this variable, get this that, and then put it to play controller. But I do not want to use that because also I need to also create a variable. It just makes it a little bit messy, and I do not like it to have this variable in here. I would like to just get a copy of it and put it in here. I think for the very big games that they are very performance intensive, you need to cache this result. But for just some kind of simple games that are not using that much of a CPU, for example 5-7% of the CPU, just if you just duplicate it, it's not going to really hurt. So now I'm adding it to the game. I'm setting the input mode to only UI, so I can interact with my widget. And also something else that I would like to be sure, I would like to set mouse cursor mouse set cursor set show. Sometimes when you're not seeing it, just uncheck this one. Set show mouse cursor and just say check, which means that you would like to have the cursor, you would like to see the cursor. But again, it needs to play a controller. Again, you can do this, but again, let's just use the luxury of having a very simple game and then duplicate this node. So I'm setting it to showing the mouse cursor, setting it to UI so I can interact with it, adding my created widget to the viewport so I can see it, and yeah, I'm creating my viewport. I'm creating a widget. And adding it to. I'm creating a widget so I can add it to the screen in here. Now this part, when I'm just compiling it, and if I just say play, I'm going to see my UMG that I have created. In Unity side, it is not like that. I mean, if you're coming from Unity, it is because this actor is in the hierarchy. For example, this one. There is no place that I can add this one to this as a variable. Of course, I can add. For example, instead of having this one class, you can create a class, promote it again context, promote it to variable, and then just fill this variable with this asset. Okay, but you can, in Unreal, you can just say which asset you have, you can just reference it in here without doing any referencing outside of it. I think it's just kind of a little bit of having an edge on Unity, because sometimes in Unity you're forgetting to just reference these stuff, but if you just get the reference or get the habit of getting a reference of them through the blueprint or through the code, it makes it way easier for you. You don't have to take care of them outside of the editor, outside of the blueprint area. So now I have it, so I'm done with this part, so I'm going to close it. I do not want to do anything else to it. Now I have my blueprint in here, and I would like to add some functionalities to it. First of all, let's just try it, and if I just say play, and if I just say click on this, and I can write everything that I want. And my button also doesn't do anything. So I would like to first of all to just do not accept any alphabet, just accept numbers. So it's very easy. I'm going to go to my widgets, or I can just say do that. Okay. Now I'm going to just go to the graph. This is the designer. I'm done with the designing part. I would like to go to the graph side. In the graph side, I have some events, but I'm not going to talk about them because I do not need them in this case, because my events are a little bit different. The events that I would like to have, one of them is button, because whenever it's unclicked, so when I click it, events, unclick, I need to just select it. And I'm going to select it, okay. The other one also, it's just not that bad to a little bit rename this stuff. So for example, this button, instead of button 127, it can be button convert into float. And in this editable tags, instead of 79, can be editable text, text input. Yeah. So I'm going to just compile it, and I'm going to get back to graph. Now I have better names. So now the other one is editable text, and I'm checking them, clicking on it in here in the variables, and I'm seeing two methods for them. That's from Unreal side, onText change and onText committed. I need to just get this onText changed. OnText changed, which means that whenever a text has been changed, for example, I type something to it, this event is going to get called. So I'm going to first use this one, and I do not need this one anymore, so I'm going to just say close it. Okay, make it smaller. So now I have also the text, and my text needs to do, I need to do some processing on my text. I can do it in here, or I can just make a function and just wrap everything that I have in a function. So just make it a clean interface, clean organization. I'm going to make a function. And also functions are very cheap. You don't have to, you can just create thousands of them. It's not going to hurt. Your performance is not going to come down. So I'm calling it whatever you want. For example, convert is number is num only cal, something like that. From here I have input and output. I would like to get the text as input, definitely. So I would like the new parameters. I would like to just say that, hey, input text, text dirt, because I do not know it's a pure text. So this is a string, and as an output, I would like to, what is my product? What is the product of this function? I would like to produce text clean. something like a so something like a factory. I'm just getting better stuff, I'm producing good stuff, or something like that. So now that I have the function, I'm getting back to my event graph, and I'm using my function, but just dragging it into the graph. And first of all, this execution pin, that's very important. Whenever this event happens, this execution pin is going to get activated and it's going to follow wherever you just attach it. So I'm going to just get it to this execution pin. So execute my function. And then text is going to be the text, which is going to be the text dirt. It needs a conversion. So it's going to conversion is going to happen automatically. What is this conversion? The conversion, if you hover over it, is set as localizable text to the string. And I do not have any problem with it. Let it to be there. So now I have my text, but I need to produce a good things. I think I need to just say compile, because why I'm getting an error in here, because I need to go to my function and the text clean, and then I need to compile it, but I cannot compile it. Could not find a pin for the parameter text clean is num only on the big number. You could not find a pin. Okay, I can just say delete the output and then compile it again, and then now delete the email again, add it again, and then call it. And now can I compile it? Yeah, I can compile it. So you can write text clean, compile it again. Okay, now text clean. Sometimes, yeah, text clean, I have it. So now it's going to produce a text clean, and I can show it because I think I'm okay with it, no problem with it, and my text is clean, so you can show it again to the text box. So what I would like to do, I would like to just grab this editable text, and if you would like to set editable text, and then you have something like that, but we do not want to use this. We want to use set editable text and get it. From get it, there is something like set editable text as a method, as a function, and you have a text that you would like to just get it. So I would like to just put it there and put it there. So the text is going to come to here. It's going to be at one conversion in between to just make it invariant, culture invariant, and now you need to put it, attach the execution pin to it, so it's going to get executed, and you're going to have a clean text into the bar, and that's it. But that means is normally if I just come to here and if I just say pass a text dirt to this one, as so without any computation, and if I just do that, still I have said anything and still everything works, but I would like to have some calculation in here. So it's not going to be that, but it's going to be first get a text and look for is num, is a string, is numeric. Now when it is numeric, you're going to have a condition. For the condition, you need a branch in under. So it's a condition, it's going to be branch. If it is true, which means that it is a number, just please just go there. And also I'm going to add a local variable, so it's going to be accessible only to this function. So it's going to promote local variable. And I'm going to just, exactly, set it in here. And you do not need that anymore, set it just to here. And then I can rename this. Yeah, and I can say that text dirt local, and I can bring it in here, so just get the text, and so I can fit it in here. So instead of just I'm setting it in here to getting in here, Why? Because it's just easier, so I do not, so I can get it again and then just add it to this one because it's already a number, so I do not have to change anything. Then what if it is false? What then we should do? I can also say condition to this one. Yeah. What if it is false? If it is false, you're going to say that chop left you need to use is just chop left, the left chop, and it is something that is going to grab a string, which is a string dirt, and just delete the left most character, but it depends how many characters you want to delete. For example, I want to, one character I want to delete from the last because it means that it's not alphanumerical, because it seems like it's not number, it's something rather than the number, so we just detected it. How we could detect it? Because the event graph, whenever you're just inserting something to the box, this event is going to get called. So for example, I press 3, this event is going to get called. I press R, this event is going to get called. So when is R is, for example, as a letter, so it's going to we're going to chop the last letter, which is R, and then show whatever it was in the beginning. So when we are doing that, we need to do this, but we need to, right now we have a text, the text is there, but we have a source. So we're going to just say add a node, return node again, which means we want to return, and we want to return that. If it is false, yes, just come to here. So that's the execution pin. Yep. And yeah, because it has an execution pin, so you need to first come to here after you set it. You need to come to here to just evaluate it, if it is numeric or not numeric. And then I would like to say that, save it, and then get back to and just say test it. So if I just press 3 right now, it just comes, but if I press F, I cannot have it. I can't delete it, I cannot press F still, but I can put numbers in it. So that's something that we would like to have. But what about this? What about this one? What about this button? If I click on it, it doesn't do anything. So I would like to add some functionalities to it. Again, let's get back to, let's just stop it, and let us get back to our graph. That was the function, works good, yeah, no problem, that just works with this one. On button click. If the on button click happened, this event is going to get called. What would we like to do with this? We would like to grab whatever the text is, which means from this one, we do not want to, we would like to know what is the text, get text exactly, as an editable text, and then you would like to do that. And then now if you just do this, and if I just play it, now if I just say 34, I'm going to get 34. So sometimes you need to play around, because sometimes this is not exactly what you expect it to do, you expect it to have. So now you have the text also, you have the text that you can get it, but whatever you need to do, you need to convert it to the float. So I'm going to say that to float, and then it's going to be a string is going to be to float, and I'm going to just pass it to this here because it needs to again get back to the string. And now save it, compile it, and then if I just say 34, now I'm going to have 34. But the question, but now we need to just set text back to itself. So I'm going to first stop it, second delete this one. Now we need to set the text already, we are doing it in here. I'm going to duplicate it, bring it above, and then saying that, yeah, just execute it, and then this is the text that you would like to have, the text, and it needs to happen back to the text to invariant culture. And yeah, I think if I can, we can just say do this, it culture, and I think you can also do this. So each of these conversion does one type to the other type. Yeah, and you can also grab them, bring them down a little bit, and then bring them to here, so a little bit more organized. So now I'm setting it back, the text to itself, with a button, compiling, and then saying play. So if I say 34 again, and if I say that, I'm going to set it back to itself, and also I'm not allowed to press any alphabets. So exactly, that is exactly what we wanted to have. So just try it if you are very new to Unreal. I think it's not very difficult, but of course in every part of it that I've explained, it can be very, very deep and can go very advanced. But I think for this tutorial is enough to know that now you have a button, you have an input text, and your button does something. And yeah, I wish you a great day.